Hello, everyone. Welcome to our discussion today. My name is Bost, and I am a strategy consulting and breathing behavior expert, creator of Miracle Breathe, mastery, and a specialist in human behavior and neuroplasticity. And I'm thrilled today to be here with Steve, my partner, who is an expert in mindfulness, cognitive therapy, and coaching as well, and different things away. Today, we are going to delve into a topic that is often overlooked, but absolutely essential to our well-being, the importance of rest. We will explore how rest impacts our brain function, creativity, and overall health. And we also discuss the powerful link between rest and conscious breathing practice, for example. Our goal with Steve is to provide you with valuable insights and practical strategies to help you prioritize rest in your busy lives. So without further ado, let's get started, Steve. Thank you for joining me today. And could you share your perspective on the role of rest in maintaining health, mental health?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Anne. It's good to be here as well. This is always something to look forward to. I think we've been covering some great topics. But I just want to say that if there's anybody out there who's not hearing something they think they need to be thinking about or they need some information about, that's not a problem. Send us a message, send us a direct message, leave something in the comments. Do whatever you've got to do to get in touch with us and we will respond. So think about it. If you've got a question, don't hesitate. So I've got a few psychological theories I'm going to drop in today, but I'm not going to go all scientific and heavy duty. So I'm going to keep it as light as I possibly can. But while Shan was talking a moment ago, something popped into my head that we were talking about just before we went into recording this episode. And that thing was, and it kind of struck me as well, how many people go to bed early because they feel tired? So they go to bed early, maybe read a book for a little while, then they sleep, and they get up in the morning and they still feel tired. Is that you? Because it is me sometimes. And I often think when I wake up in the morning, that's not right. Because I went to bed early and I still feel tired. Why do I still feel tired? Now, there's a whole load of reasons for that. But the point being, and Anne will come back on this in a little while, I think, that rest doesn't just mean going to bed at night. It doesn't just mean going to bed early. There's a whole load of stuff about rest. We need to take little rest breaks during the day. We need to take a little bit of time out from time to time during the day. We need to pause to reflect. We need to pause to breathe. Anne is a breathing expert, so you need to really hear what Anne has to say on this. But before we get into that, I'm just going to think about a couple of things. There's one thing called cognitive load theory. Sounds a little bit complex and a little bit complicated, but it isn't. So what cognitive load theory is talking about is, in particular, our working memory. We have this thing called the working memory. It's at work all the time. We're awake. It's sorting out what we need to do, when we need to do it, all kinds of stuff. But the thing is with the working memory is that it is limited. It's not a thing that can keep going forever and ever without being looked after. We need to look after our working memory because it has a limited capacity. Think about the memory on your phone. My phone here, my phone is having a meltdown right now because there's too much in there. There's too many apps. There are too many videos. There are all kinds of too manys. And it's not happy. It's working very, very slowly. Well, in a sense, human beings are the same. We can only get so much in there before we start feeling tired, before we start to feel a little bit exhausted. And what happens when all those things happen? Our effectiveness is reduced. Our ability to think is reduced. Our ability to learn also reduced. problem-solving skills. Problems become challenges. And if it keeps going, that we don't take rest, then we can hit that horrible thing called burnout that people too flippantly talk about. Burnout is really serious, and it's something that we've got to be aware of. So we need regular rest, because regular rest helps us to reset our working memory, for example. It enhances our performance and it enhances our productivity. So that's just one psychological theory called cognitive load theory. So, and it's insisting we need to take a break. So, Anne, what do you want to respond to some of that?
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. And cognitive function and creativity for me is very important when we're considering the profound effects of the brain for rest. Rest plays for me a pivotal role in maintaining and enhancing our cognitive functions. And during periods of rest, particularly when sleep, the brain processes and consolidates information. And we've occurred throughout the day. And this process, known as neuroplasticity, my mission to empower neuroplasticity, allows the brain to form new neural connections, which are essential for learning and memory. But moreover, rest fosters creativity. When we are well rested, because sometimes we are not well rested. We rest, but it's not efficient. It's not a well efficient. So when we are well rested, our brains are more able to making novel connections between disparate ideas, leading to innovative solutions and the aha moments. And the famous scientist Albert Einstein, for example, was known to take naps and breaks, which he credited for some of his more groundbreaking insights. So I love Albert Einstein, and we have a lot to learn from him. And the rest is important for physical health and recovery. So you know that in your work, you know that recovery is very important to rest. Physically, rest is indispensable for recovery and overall health. For the athletes, for instance, if you want to have optimal performance, for marathon runners, for example, incorporate rest days into their training in order to improve their performance, to allow their muscles to recover and prevent injuries. So rest is important for everybody, and it's essential. And for sure, my breathing work is very important. It's a powerful combination for breathing and rest. But I'm not here to explain all my breathing work and all my breathing stuff we can do for the rest. Because to rest, it's about 5 minutes a day to do another thing, to promote your brain and to make a break with your brain. Because your brain is always in functionment, always. And a lot of people by night during the sleep, the brain still move and reflect, and they have some thought every day and every night. And I learn when I teach meditation, for example, Steve, that people don't stop the mind, don't stop the effect of the thought, so they don't reach the rest of the mind. How you can do that? How you can explain during meditation, for example, that people think that they have to rest, but it's a misconception about rest. So what is your point of view about that?
Yeah, I think there is a misconception about rest, absolutely. And one of the things that I like to use with my clients, well, several things. I have a number of very simple exercises. They're so simple that sometimes people say to me things like, really? That will work? That will be helpful? So, and the answer, of course, is yes, absolutely. So here's one, and I'm not going to apologize if this is a repeat from previous weeks. I may have mentioned this particular exercise, and it's called Find a Colour. So you're working hard, and it's difficult. You're having a challenge, and there's a few challenges flying your way. You're feeling perhaps a little bit stressed. So what do? We stop. Just stop. Take some breaths. Focus on your breathing. In, hold, gently out. We're not rushing the breathing, just gentle. And then we choose a colour. So right in front of me, around the side of my camera, there's blue. So that's my colour. It's not a favourite colour, it's just the first colour that I saw. Blue. So I look around the room. Where can I see blue? Doesn't need to be the same, just blue. Similar colour, similar shade, and so on, just blue. My jacket's some blue. And there's some on the cup here and some on my pencil. And I'm just focusing on blue. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm not interested in anything else. If I see a picture on the wall that's not quite straight, I'm not interested for now. I'm just finding blue. There's some blue in the picture. And when I'm done, I just focus on my breathing for a moment and then go back to what I was doing. If I took a little break, it may have lasted a minute. And I may take the same break again a little bit later. I may choose a different color. But as I've said, there are a lot of exercises like this. Now, the beautiful thing about that exercise is that, excuse me, it is rest taking. It is taking a break. It does allow me to unload a little bit of that cognitive load, which is cool. That's helpful. So my brain is relaxing in the background. And then I can carry on. So my creativity comes back. And also looking for colors is quite creative. You know, spotting a blue hidden in a picture, or a blue hidden in a cover, or a sheet of something, or blue hidden on a piece of paper is kind of creative. So that's a positive thing. But there are other things we need to talk about as well. So, for example, think about it. What happens when you feel a little bit overloaded, when you feel a little bit stressed? Sometimes when we feel that way, our emotions become challenged. And we may not be experiencing the best of emotions. We may be experiencing slightly negative emotions because the world is kind of attacking us and we're feeling a bit tense and we're feeling a little bit, perhaps a little bit angry, a little bit annoyed at the way things aren't working out. So we're filled with a few negative emotions. Negative emotions, guess what? They're really tiring. They're extremely draining. So how can we replace those negatives with positives? Do you have a response to that, Anne, before I go on?
For me, there are no negative and positive emotion. I think that it's perception of the emotion. And the work when I used to do with my client is to accept the emotion and feel the emotion linked to the situation, and you perceive the situation in the way due to your past, due to your past life, your experience, etc. For me, I think that, as you say, it exists very simple exercise, and it's all about create a routine in your day. And a routine is not easy. Sometimes we decide to make a race for 5 minutes on Monday, and on Tuesday we forget the rest. So we have to come back on the Monday and return. It's a vicious cycle because sometimes we put some difficult things, and we have simple things around us, but we prefer difficult things. And I think that I often suggest starting with manageable tips, manageable change, and 5 minutes a day for breathing exercise, conscious breathing exercise. It's also important to create a routine. It included regular breaks and downtime, even if it's just few minutes, and encouraging clients to see rest as an investment in their productivity and well-being can also help shift their mindset also. There are some signs that someone might be experiencing burnout, and how we can mindfulness and cognitive therapy help address this. I think that's, you have some signs, Steve, that you see in burnout includes chronic fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating, sense of detachment from work. And this cognitive therapy and mindfulness, I think that can help provide tools to manage stress, improve emotional resilience, regulation, etc. We have a lot to tell about that, but for me, it's very important to tell you, everyone who will listen to us, that if you need more information, if you need support, or if you have questions about how you can put a routine in your daily life, you just have to have a conversation with me or Steve, and we will give some tools, because it depends on each of you. We are all different. We are all different physiology, or different psychology, or different past experience. But for sure, if you just be focused on your breathing, or you work with a simple practice as breathing, I repeat breathing because it's my work, and I know, I believe that it's the free asset that we have to empower our rest. So,
unlike the coffee machine, so that now that sounds a little bit strange, maybe. Okay, so think about it. You're at work, you feel the need for a break. What do many people do? They go to the coffee machine. Is that really taking a break? Is it? I'm not going to answer that question from my point of view, but it's a general question to everybody out there. Do you feel honestly rested and relaxed after you've had a trip to the coffee machine? Think about it. Let us know what you think in the comments. So I just want to go back to emotions. So whether emotions are positive or negative, whatever they are, they last for more than the moment. So an emotion comes up, and it doesn't just come up, we think about it for a minute, and then it goes away again. It sticks around. It hangs out somewhere. Doesn't matter where that somewhere is. So the emotion sticks around. It doesn't go away immediately. So let's say a negative emotion comes up, and 5 minutes later, another one, and then another one. Well, not every 5 minutes, because it doesn't work like that. But these negative emotions keep coming up. We're building on them. Eventually, if we only experience negative and difficult emotions, we're going to feel exhausted because it's tiring. Think about it. What happens when you feel a negative emotion? You don't feel like a bundle of joy who wants to leap around and celebrate. And too often we allow ourselves to be pulled under by these difficult emotions. So let's just think about positive psychologist Barbara Fredrickson. She proposed a theory called broaden and build. So what she was focused on, she was interested in, was positive emotion. She wasn't ignoring the difficult emotions, but she was interested in focusing on positive emotions. Because her argument is that if you have one positive emotion, I feel positive emotions now because I enjoy sitting here talking with Anne on our video. So I feel very positive about that. That positive feeling isn't going to go away as soon as we say, bye, see you later. It's going to stick around for a while. So if I notice another positive emotion, it kind of adds to the first positive emotion, and it builds. So I'm building a store of positivity within me. If I have that store of positivity within me, it's easier to manage the difficult things when they crop up. So it's almost like taking a break by focusing on these positives, a little bit like taking a break. We do still need to take a break. Rest and relaxation is absolutely essential. It's not something that is desirable. It's absolutely essential. Because if we take rest and relaxation, we can promote more positive emotional states.
Mm.
And that enhances our creativity and our problem-solving skills and our ability to relate to other people, all kinds of positive stuff. So there are a lot of things that broaden and build can help us. Now, I didn't cover the theory in great detail. This isn't the time and place to do that. So the message is clear, isn't it? Take a break, because if you don't take a break, that's not good for you. And guess what? It's not good for the people around you either.
Yeah, I want to add something. You say take a break. You're right. Do you know? I'm sure you know a lot of business women, businessmen, business leader take a break 2 times a year. They do nothing. They take a retreat, a wellness retreat. And the effect of this retreat brings them creativity, productivity, performance. So I think it's a good imitation for all of you. And rest is not a luxury. It's a fundamental necessity for our mental, physical, and emotional well-being. And if everybody take 5 minutes breaks each day, 5 minutes for them, just to be with them, just do nothing, they will see the result very, very fast. I do the experience. For me, sometimes we refuse to take rest because we have a lot of work and we do a lot of work and we don't stop. But if you don't stop, your body tells you, oh, take a break because you're tired, your muscles are tired also, and you don't take a break. You still work. And I think that it's too bad, it's too sad that you are waiting for pain, you are waiting for different bad things in your life, in your health, to take a break. And sometimes I meet people who are very, very ill and they decided to take a break right now. So this conversation is very important, and I recommend everybody to take a rest and put in the comment how they feel when they take 5 minutes break this day with us. Because during our conversation, it's a break for all people who listen to us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to put it, Anne. Love that. I just want to talk about not taking a break for a minute, because there was a time in my professional career, my life, when I didn't take a break. And what happened to me? Yes, I got sick, but there was a lot of other stuff before I got sick, and most of it I missed. I missed it because I wasn't taking breaks. I should have known better, goodness sake. I studied psychology, I knew all the theory, but I still didn't take breaks. And when I really started to get tired, some of the things that happened, my relationships were challenged. I blamed everything or everybody for things that were going wrong. It was never my fault, which was crazy, absolutely crazy. I'm not that kind of guy. But that's what I was doing. I was blaming all sorts of things. I went out on my bike one day, my mountain bike, and there was an incident, and part of my bike broke because of the incident. I blamed the manufacturer of the gear set that broke. It was totally ridiculous. It was everybody's fault but mine. But that's not true. It was actually my fault because I hadn't been taking breaks. So we need to think about that stuff. We really do. So on a positive note, we can make a big difference. We can make huge differences in our life. And it doesn't take an hour or two a day to do that. It doesn't necessarily mean we've got to go on a retreat twice a year. That works for some people, brilliant, it's good. But for most people, they don't need to go on a retreat. They can do it by taking just a couple of minutes every now and again during their day. It doesn't matter what sort of job you have, where you work, whether you don't work. Maybe you look after, well, I was going to say maybe you don't work because you look after children. That is work. That is work in itself, and you still need breaks from that. I spent 3 hours yesterday morning with my grandson. Do you know what? I was exhausted at the end of it. It was a positive kind of exhaustion, but I needed to recharge afterwards, and I did recharge. Had I jumped onto the next thing, which was a very long drive afterwards, without recharging, I wonder how I would have been at the end of that long drive. So we need to think a little bit rather than get wrapped up in the moment. Because if we're too wrapped up in the moment, that's when we start to forget to take a break. So let's do some thinking about that.
Like a computer, if you don't stop your computer, never stop your computer doesn't work anymore. So that's that's a good point for us to talk about that. So
yeah.
So thank you, Steve, for this conversation, and thank you, everyone. I think that this conversation is one more in our panel of video with Steve, and we will have more discussion further because we have a lot together to share with our audience, with you. And I encourage you to put a comment, to put a question if you have, and I encourage you to respect your authenticity and to be you, and to feel free anytime to join us. And remember, prioritizing rest and integrating mindful conscious breathing into your routine can make a significant difference in your overall well-being. So I encourage everyone, take care and make sure to rest well.
Absolutely. Perfect place to finish. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again next week.
Bye-bye, Steve.